Alright, welcome back to FTL. We're doing a Zoltan ship run this time. We're about to jump to Sector 3, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll go to the Engi-controlled sector. And we have a store nearby and two ships, which are signified by the little caution symbols at these jump points. Here we come across a forward scout of the rebel fleet. That's okay, my halberd beam will punch right through his shields. I'm going to turn on cloaking there just to delay their weapons while I fire my laser. And there we go. That was a piece of cake. 40 scrap. That's a pretty good reward for this early on. Jump down here now. And we come across an automated scout that's deactivated. We're going to attempt to download its data stores. We are successful, so we get the map updated, and we get some fuel, some drone parts, and some scrap. Excellent. And you can see there's some interesting stuff going on. We have 3 stores on the map, 2 distress beacons, a few enemy ships, but not too many. Let's see, that is near a sun, but I'm probably going to have to jump through there anyway if I want to explore most of the map. So let's go to this first store. Alright, we find some more crew members that I don't particularly need, a hull laser and a heavy laser. Let's see, I definitely need more fuel. And I think we're going to pass up on that other stuff for now. Yeah, none of that is really worth it, and we can get up to this top store, and hopefully we'll have some more scrap by then. And we have a Zoltan ship. The nice thing about the Zoltan shield is that until they take it down, they can't actually board us. So if I can get a shot off and disable their teleporter before then, I won't have to worry about fighting boarders with what is a very, very weak crew at the moment. Well, I've damaged it, but I haven't disabled it completely. Got some fires on board our ship, but nothing I'm particularly concerned with. And I disabled their teleporter just in time to prevent them from getting any enemies onto my ship, which is good. They're trying to escape, so I'm actually going to retarget my halberd beam onto their engines just to make sure they can't get away, even though I suspect it will take them out entirely. Some more fire on board the ship to deal with, but the primary threat has been dealt with. Now it's just a matter of getting out of here. Come across a rebel fighter. This should not be too difficult. And I'm going to try and remember that I have cloaking so I can dodge this first missile of his. Well, it hit the Zoltan shield anyway. That's okay. And we take them out. Excellent. Let's check out this upward store. Excellent. A hull laser too. I like those a lot, so I think I'm going to go ahead and buy that. buy up the rest of their fuel, and then I am going to buy one more unit of power so I can turn on my med bay and get everybody all healed up. Here we could buy some fuel for scrap. That's a pretty good deal, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And let's check out this distress beacon. We have a haywire satellite defense system. We will repair that using our cloaking, and we get some nice scrap and other rewards out of that. We come across another rebel fighter. Same formula as last time. These guys have a teleporter as well, so they will probably try to board our ship if they can't take down the Zoltan shield before we destroy them. But since we did enough damage, they are just straight up trying to flee, and they are not going to get that chance. There we go. Alright, depending on the way this map is laid out, I may have to fight the rebel fleet before I can get to the exit beacon. Here we have an empty system, and no, fortunately we can actually get to the exit beacon and stay ahead of the rebel fleet. Here we can sell some drone parts for some scrap. That sounds like a good deal to me, because now I have enough to upgrade my weapons system a couple times, and get some more power. So now I don't have enough to use both the hull laser and the halberd beam yet, but I'm in a better situation than I was just a few minutes ago. And let's go to the Engi homeworlds. There's a store right there, but I have no scrap, so there's no point in going there. These guys are offering us drone parts in exchange for fuel. Not interested. We have a ship down here, so let's go pick a fight. Alright, these guys have a Zoltan shield of their own. At this point, I'm actually going to power up my missile launcher and my hull laser so I can work my way through their shield more efficiently than I could if I were just using the halberd beam or using the halberd beam and the missile launcher. Still not the most efficient process in the world, but it's better than nothing. There we go. Now I can use a missile launcher on their shields, hopefully. Did a little bit of damage. The Leto does make up for its lack of damage by firing extremely quickly, which is kind of nice, but that also means that you tend to use up more ammunition than you do with, say, the Artemis or some of the bigger missile launchers. And let's keep jumping. We get some free stuff, always a good thing. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it up to that store before the rebel fleet gets there, but I'm going to head in that direction anyway and just give it a shot. We have an Engi ship requesting assistance. We move in to find a Mantis ship assaulting them. I'm just going to go ahead and fire a missile at their teleporter just to see if I can take it out before they send over boarders. At the very least, it'll be one more point of damage. Well, I was able to damage it. That means that with this halberd beam, I should be able to disable it entirely. But not before they bring two Mantis on board. This is going to be fun. By fun, I mean rather fraught. And it turns out that disabling their teleporter may end up biting me in the ass here, because now I have to trying to say? Now I have to actually fight off these mantis instead of just doing enough damage to their ship that they teleport away. I'd really like to keep them from taking out my oxygen system, but I don't really have that choice, so I'm just going to have to hope that I can kill these mantis before I run out of too much air. You can see that even in the med bay, my Engi is actually slowly losing the damage race there, I believe. They are just not built for combat. Thankfully, we saved the Engi ship, and because we have Engi crew on board, we get this blue option, which is a side quest, where if you take it and you haven't already unlocked the stealth ship, the Nasazio, at the end of this quest, you will be given it. I already have it unlocked on the save file, so we won't get to see that, but I will try to complete the quest, just for thoroughness' sake, since it's available. With those threats taken care of, I have a whole bunch of scrap again. Let's see, yeah, I can make it to that store. And while I'd like to complete that quest, I'm not going to make it a priority. Nothing particularly interesting here. So I'm going to go ahead and spend this scrap on upgrading my weapons one more time, and upgrading my engine and getting some more power, because only having one blip of power in your engines is not great. With that, if I do a little bit of power juggling, I can now turn on my hull laser and my halberd beam, which means I am in a much more viable ship-to-ship combat mode now. I had to backtrack a little bit just to stay ahead of the rebel fleet. Come across an empty sector. Let's go down to this quest marker. Basically just waiting for both my weapons to charge so I can fire them in one big salvo and maximize my damage. Which is important because the ship apparently has a bomb weapon equipped, and those are very bad news when none of your crew members have very much hit points. Alright, I disabled their drone and their bomb weapons, so I think I'm safe now. And there we go, taken care of. And my goodness, we get a free crew member, some scrap, and a burst laser Mark III. That is an excellent haul. It's another Engi, which is not ideal, but I will take what I can get. I'm still running low on power, so I'm actually going to buy 2 more bricks worth, because now we can have everything up and running. I'm going to try and swap out at least a few of my crew members for hopefully some rock or mantis if I come across them later on. There's the distress beacon down here with a hostile ship at it. Let's see what the deal is. These guys need fuel. We're doing okay on fuel, so I'll give it to them. And we get 54 scrap in exchange. That was definitely worth it. Staying just ahead of the rebel fleet. Zoltan research study, we've seen this before. 26 more scrap, and it's time to jump out of this sector. And we could repair damage in exchange for scrap, but we don't actually have any damage right now, so I don't have to worry about that. Do a little weapon shuffling here. Unfortunately, I can't use the hull laser and the burst laser 3 and the halberd beam all at once. But just for fun, and because I haven't shown it off yet, I am actually going to be using the burst laser 3, at least for a little while. You can see it fires even more slowly than the halberd beam does. Let's see. I'm actually going to go through the Mantis homeworlds, because then we'll get 2 friendly sectors at the end of the game, which is very nice. And while this is rather dangerous, at least it's only 1 hostile sector. Here we can carefully cut a ship out of some rocks with our beam weapon. Jump down here. It's an empty sector. I could go back to that store, and in fact I have to because I'm getting low on fuel, so that's what I'm going to do. And get 4 more fuel. Ooh, an Ion Blast 2. Let's see. You have many choices here. I'm going to sell the Healing Burst because I don't need that. Let's see. I'm just trying to figure out the optimum loadout here. Yeah, I said I was going to show it off, but it's just not my favorite weapon, so I'm actually going to sell the Burst Laser, and I'm going to buy an Ion Blast, sell the Lido, so I have just enough scrap to get the automated reloader, which will decrease my weapon cooldown time. So now I have a decent suite of weapons, and Ion Blast 2 plus Halberd Beam is a very nice combination. I can't use all 3 of these at the moment, but I'll be able to switch out as necessary. Come across another empty sector. I know this one has a ship in it, so let's see what we have to fight. Mantis, these guys have 2 shields, but fortunately my Ion Blast will take those down fairly quickly. As long as it doesn't keep missing. You can see with the weapon reloader and a fairly experienced gunner, the Ion Blast just fires ridiculously quickly. Even just having one of them is really nice. We've got some Mantis boarding our ship, but I'm going to open that section of the ship to vacuum so they won't be able to actually do much. I'm going to let them break down that door just so that they have to break down a door into vacuum. This way they may be able to get into my sensor room and take it out, but they'll be taking damage the whole time. You know, you can see they know they're in a vacuum, so they're kind of running around trying to get out of it. And they'll be able to break down a few doors, but they will probably actually suffocate before they even make it into close contact with my crew. Yep, there they go. It's a cruel way to kill them off, but it's also extremely safe, so... Here we have a Mantis vessel chasing a civilian ship. We are not going to have any of that. More boarders, and they're actually heading for a relatively vulnerable crew member, so I'm going to have to send people over there to help him out, even though they're running through a vacuum. We get a new crew member, who is, thank goodness, finally we have a Mantis on board. I can get my Zoltan out of that fight and bring the Mantis over to hopefully help take these guys down. And I need to remember to shut my door because... otherwise, I will be taking damage over time, which is always bad news. Kozar is my gunner, so he needs to go back over there. Now we have a slightly more balanced crew layout, which is always a good thing. I'm going to go ahead and buy 1 more brick of power for now, just so I can run everything I need to on my ship at the moment. My next priority is going to be upgrading my shields again, but until I can afford to do that, I am just going to have to take my chances. Aha! This is the start of the quest that will unlock the Mantis ship if you have not already done it. However, in order to successfully complete the quest, you have to have both a crew teleporter and an upgraded medbay, neither of which we have. So we won't be able to do anything about this, so I'm just going to go ahead and fight him instead. It's a shame, because this is one of the trickier side quests to complete, because it's dependent both on 2 rather expensive upgrades to your ship, and on whether or not you come across the Mantis homeworlds, or come across this particular encounter. I need to remember that I have cloaking to dodge that missile. There's also a time limit on this section of the quest. If you can't get Borders onto his ship and kill off the crew quickly enough, he will not survive, and you won't be able to complete the quest. I had that happen a couple times when I was playing through to try and unlock it, and it was extremely frustrating. Nearby sun, and we have intruders on board. Looks like they're all human, so I'm not terribly concerned about this. Move my Mantis and my human. Well, my human's good where... Well, now he's not good where he is. This is going south rather quickly. My hope is that I can jump away before a solar flare hits, which I can. My second hope is that the sector I'm jumping to is safe, which it is. And now I can hopefully get my Zoltan crew to safety. All these guys suffocate. See, that was quite a bit closer than I would have liked. He's down to just 4 health. But now that the air is back on, I can go over and get him healed up. The layout of the Zoltan ship means that these system rooms down here are pretty vulnerable to Borders, because there's only one path back to the safer parts of the ship. But if you're careful, you're usually going to be okay. Looks like I will just make it to the exit. We find an intruder on deck. This is that encounter we came across before, where we can either side with the friendly Mantis or offer him up, and he may not actually be friendly, but I would love to have another Mantis on my crew, so let's give it a shot. Nope, turns out he was a spy. He sabotaged our ship and then jumped away. So we took a little bit of damage, and now we have to fight this Engi ship. Not the worst outcome. It would have been worse if he had killed one of our crew, but... And the ship itself is not really very much of a threat at all, so... There we go, we get some scrap, which is good. We'll jump to the exit. Automated rebel scout attacking a refueling outpost. This guy doesn't even have any shields. This is going to be a cakewalk. And there we go, that was indeed easy. Get some more scrap. Reward from the outpost for saving them. We have enough scrap now that I'm going to upgrade my shields and the power to run them. And we are ready to leave this sector, so I will catch you guys next time.